Kia ora and good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Uni 101 student panel, which is part of our Waipapa Taumata Rau, Mano o Mai Information Evening Online. My name is Jeanette, and I'll be your host for tonight's panel. I'm part of the Schools and Community Engagement team here at Waipapa Taumata Rau, which basically means our teams are the bridge to high schools and the university, so we get to do all the fun things in between. For this webinar, we really wanted to highlight the student experience, and we thought what better way to do that than to hear directly from our current students, so you're in for an absolute treat. Some of you might be set on studying at the University of Auckland and just kind of curious on what to expect next, and others might be on the fence and not entirely sure what they want to study or what they want to do. Whatever the case is, we hope our student panel provides you with a unique glimpse into what it's like to study with us. Our student panel will share their experiences of studying at the University of Auckland and answer questions like what made them choose to study at the University of Auckland, what parts they enjoy most about their program, some fun things they like to do on campus, and last but not least is one tip or trick or word of advice that they wish they knew before started studying at the University of Auckland. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind our audience who have joined us this evening, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, just feel free to pop them into the Q&A, and hopefully one of our lovely team members can answer your questions. Now, I'll briefly hand it over to our amazing student panel to introduce themselves by sharing their names and their degrees, what they're currently studying, as well as where home is to them.
Kia ora everybody, my name is Hannah. I am studying a conjoint degree at the university. So I'm studying a Bachelor of Health Science and a Bachelor of Communications majoring in Leadership. And I come from a very small town called Alexandra, which is kind of in Central Otago, down the bottom of the South Island. Yeah, excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Good everyone, my name is Jackson. I am in my final year of a Bachelor of Music and Bachelor of Arts. Studying Te Reo Māori music and French. And home to me is two places. One is South Auckland and the other is Taupo.
Kia ora everyone, my name is Wilson. I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Science majoring in Psychology, and home to me is Wellington.
Malo lele everyone, my name is Amelia Pascala and I am currently studying a Bachelor of Law and a Bachelor of Arts majoring in Art History and Pacific Studies. Home to me is my homeland, the Kingdom of Tonga.
Thanks, team. Let's get straight into it. Okay, the first question I'm going to put to the panel is, could you please explain why you chose to study here at the University of Auckland? Jackson.
There were a couple of reasons as to why I chose to study with the University of Auckland. Firstly, my older sister went here, and so it was a lot easier to kind of make that transition from high school to university when you have someone there that can help you out in all the spots. Secondly, I got a scholarship from the university. I got the Māori Academic Excellence Scholarship, which at the time was worth 20K. I believe it's worth more now, but it gave me a full year in our halls of residence in first year. So that was an amazing opportunity I couldn't pass up. And thirdly and finally was the degree itself. Very few other places do popular music songwriting, so it felt like it should be a good choice for me, and it was.
For myself, it was stemming about moving away and seeing new places and meeting new people. Coming from Central Otago to Auckland was a big change, but I think what really drew me here was the ability to get some fresh ideas, meet some new faces, new things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And that is really what drew me up here, and also the university and just how well connected it is into the outside world. You could really see that the opportunities you would get in university would really lead you into a profession past your studies. And that was another thing that really made me keen and interested about coming up here to study. Yeah.
Okay, UOA was my top option, not only because it's the leading university here in New Zealand, but because I knew that the support system here was just as high quality. And I think that was really important to me when choosing where to study, because I knew that I'd be academically challenged, but also supported in every step of my journey academically here at the University of Auckland.
Yeah, just to echo what Hannah said, yeah, there's so many opportunities here at the University of Auckland. It's such an amazing city. For me, one of the main reasons was that we have such a diversity of subjects that are offered at the university, as well as loads of clubs, and we're also one of the very few universities that has a student-led radio as well, which is awesome for students to participate in.
Fab, thank you. The second question I would like to ask is, what is your favorite part of your program and why?
One of my favorite parts about studying law at the University of Auckland is that it truly offers a vast perspectives, and throughout the program, you're exposed to different interpretations and approaches to the law, and that essentially by your final year, which I'm in my final year, you sort of have the tools and skills to determine your own perspective of how the law operates, and that's not only just relevant here in New Zealand, but also anywhere. So for me, that's quite important as I'm quite passionate about my homeland. So it's really important for me to have these skills in order to have a meaningful input into matters that concern my community. Yeah.
Wow, that was very well answered. Beautiful. And Wilson.
Yeah, in terms of my program, the Bachelor of Science, I get an amazing opportunity to tap into loads of different subjects. Of course, my major in psychology, a little bit of math, a little bit of physics, a little bit of biology. There's just so many subjects to choose from. In particular, within psychology, I'm learning so much. Every day, I'm learning different types of psychology, different fields, as well as different interventions that we have as well. So yeah, I'm just learning so much information, and there's so many diverse courses to take as well.
Fun. Fab, thank you. Hannah?
I would say being in health science, it's a non-clinical program. So learning about health from a non-clinical perspective is something that a lot of people who work in healthcare don't get the opportunity to do. So it gives you a very unique skill set in that regard, which is fantastic. Otherwise, the great thing about both the health and the communications sectors within the university is the lecturers are really keen to see students succeed and do well, and they're very good at helping you to be able to do that, especially kind of setting you up with connections inside and outside of uni. They're really passionate about making sure we have the skills to carry on once we finish, and they're also compassionate about the fact that we are students and we do have other things going on in our lives. So they're very good at making sure that we can work to the best that we can and to make the circumstances suitable to students as well.
I think the thing that I've most found enjoyable about studying at Waipapa Taumata Rau is the opportunities you get inside of your industry. I'm sure everyone else here can agree with that. Um, for me, particularly with my music degree, I got the opportunity to go to Roundhead Studios through the university and record with members of LMNOP, Op Shop, people who were Grammy nominated. And I got to record a song and release that. And that kind of stuff is so hard to come by. And I was able to do that through the university. So opportunities like that are just amazing. And you see them all across different faculties and different degrees. It's incredible. I think the other thing about studying here that's so enjoyable is there's a really strong sense of community within the language faculties, particularly. And that is really encouraging to know that you're not alone in your kind of your struggles and your wins. So, yeah.
Thanks, team. That was great. Our third question for the panel is, could you tell us about one random or cool thing you have discovered or enjoyed to do on campus? We'll start out with Wilson.
Yeah, we recently had a new building open up, which was that houses the arts and education faculty. So it's been really fun going around the building and finding cool study areas, as there's so many study areas along all the levels. So yeah, that's been something really cool and fun to discover.
Cool.
One cool thing about the University of Auckland is the faculty associations, such as AULSS, SPIES, PILSA, and many more. They often hold socials, barbecues, and pub quizzes, and it's such a fun way to connect and network, not only within your field of study, but also outside. And it really does add to the university experience, and it gives you a sense of balance between your academics and social life.
It's kind of a small thing, but what I really enjoy on campus is just walking around. Like campus is such a lively place. There's always something going on, and there's heaps of events happening all the time with these different students associations and in different buildings. So honestly, sometimes half the fun when you're in between classes is just walking around and seeing what you come into because you could get free merch, free food, like whatever you want. So just keeping an eye out for those kind of things can be really, really rewarding and lots of fun.
So stinking true. Cool. Hannah.
I would say so. Our new rec centre, Hiwa, was opened late last year, and the top story of Hiwa is a rooftop, and it's open. And just sitting out there, I mean, some people are probably there at sunrise. I'm there at sunset, but just being able to watch the sunset and have do some study while the sun sets over the back of the sky tower and look out as the sky goes pink over like Rainy Toto, it is beautiful, and the opportunity to do that in university is just really cool, and it's a lovely place to wind down at the end of the day and chill out and have just a wee moment of zen. It's really beautiful.
Cool. Okay. Next question I have for you guys. If you could go back to your first week at uni, what would you do differently?
Sweet. Okay, so to set the scene, because my first year was quite different to what your potential first year might be in the next year or however long it is. My first year was 2020, so first year of COVID. Yay! So it made it quite a difficult year later on, but in the first week I was in halls. I got a scholarship that paid for my halls, which was amazing, and I'm so grateful for that from the university. Um, and I think for me, it was just keep doing what you were doing. I had kind of decided before I came to halls, because university, when you come here, it's such a blank slate. No one really has any context for who you were in high school, which can be a scary thing, but it's also a really freeing thing because you can be who you need to be. And no one's going to judge you for that because they're meeting you for the first time. So a lot of that kind of shyness and quietness that I had in high school disappeared because I realized that I didn't need to mask any part of myself. And so I could just come across as me, and that was who I was to these new people. So that was a really important decision that helped me. And I think if I was to go back to my first week self and just say, keep doing what you're doing, in that sense, that would be great. I think the other thing would be plan your assessments out. First year me, well, not just first year me, but first year me mainly was pretty bad at time managing in terms of assignment due dates and what I needed to do at what time. I think if I had gone back, I'd say I'd like hand him a planner and just say, please put your assignments in the calendar. Even just having, I know I have some friends who do, they have a deadline and they put it a week prior. So then they're working towards that deadline then, and then they have an extra week to kind of fine tune things. So something along those lines of just being like, hey, maybe think about these deadlines while also balancing everything else. And yeah, just kind of reassuring him that he's in the right place for what he wants to do. Yeah, yeah.
Jackson said, I can definitely talk from a perspective in terms of someone who did not stay in halls first year, as someone who stayed at home and had to take public transport. I think it's best you plan early on. I think people do not realize that it's actually an hour from Manurewa all the way to the city, and then you have to catch the bus, sort of thing. So I think it's really important that you understand sort of the time, just so you don't feel rushed. I definitely felt rushed, and I felt like uni was so fast paced because I didn't have like a good concept of time. So I think that's really important in your first year. I think that sort of does impact classes, because if you're late to your classes, you sort of feel, I don't know, I felt like unorganized and in that sort of way. I really recommend planning your journey ahead, as they say here, AT. And same goes for assignments and um tutorials. I think people don't realize that uni actually stacks on top of each other. And I think like what Jackson said, um I think a practical way you could organize your deadlines and your assignments would be to put all in a physical table. Just make it on Google Docs and just have your assignments in chronological order from it's the first one that's due to the last one. And I think that will really help you. And I've only just started doing that in my like third year, and I felt that really helped, and I really could have used that, and it could have been really useful for me in my first year.
Loving this. Our last question to the panel is, could you share with the audience one tip or trick or word of advice you wish you had known before studying here at the University of Auckland? I'll start with you, Amelia.
My biggest advice for you all is that attending lectures and tutorials saves you more time and stress in the long run. Yeah.
Yeah, I think something that I wish I had known was that university, even though it seems big and scary, actually when you do sit in those lecturers are quite keen to take on your questions. So I'd always encourage students to ask questions to any staff because they hold so much wealth of knowledge. Yeah.
I would say, and this sounds very cliche, and you'll hear this multiple times, but talk to people in your first week of uni, especially people that you don't know. Some of the people that I met in the first week have become my greatest friends that I now live with. And one of my closest friends that I met in the first week of uni, we met in our orientation day for health science. Both of us knew nobody, and we just struck up a conversation and then spent the rest of orientation day together. And now we spend every waking minute in class and often out of class together as well. So just the opportunity to make those friendships and connections early on is really worthwhile, and it's so helpful to have those people throughout uni with you as well.
My biggest advice to myself coming into uni is, or would be that you are your own boss now. There are no high school teachers to run after you and check that you're coming to class and check that you're handing in assignments. If you miss them, then tough luck. It's really important that that is something that you think about going into university, because it is quite a different shift. It's quite a change from high school. And so if someone had told me that, then I would probably have done a little bit better of a job in first year, but you learn eventually, that's for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, those planners are really helpful, eh? Okie dokie. The last question for you guys. What is the one app or digital tool that you couldn't live without as a student? Still to this day, till, your first week or now, I don't really know. But yeah, do you have any on the top of your head?
Um, there's three that come to mind off the bat. One is particular to music, and then the other two are more general. And one is one that might not be brought up elsewhere. So the first one, the one for music, is voice memos or voice recorder. It is such a, for my degree particularly, for context, I do popular songwriting, like I said. Um, a lot of what we do is songwriting. You're writing drafts, you're writing ideas down, and that kind of thing. So having a way to record audio at all times with me, just on my phone, makes it so that if I do have an idea, I don't have to try and remember it until I get home, and I can just record it on the fly. And so going through my voice memos, I have maybe like 700 different little ideas of stuff and random things to draw on if I ever need inspiration when I'm doing my work. So that's one for music, particularly, that I always recommend to any of our new pop students. The other two that come to mind, one is First Table. This is slightly non-university related, but such a good thing for students. First Table is a website slash app where you can book restaurants and get half price off of your food total. There are a couple of different requirements that you do when you book, but that's fine. But as a student who doesn't have a lot of time to work a lot and make some money, saving money anywhere possible is very useful. So if you want to have a nice dinner out with your friends, or you're going somewhere special with someone special, then that can be a really good idea to fall on a budget, let's say. And the last app that I use really all the time is a calendar app. Because I work at the university as a student ambassador, I also have two other jobs and I study. I am in such debt to my calendar, um, in terms of remembering meetings that I've got coming up, different job shifts, different class times, different assignments, different things to do, little reminders that come up on my phone and on my computer. Uh, it is such an invaluable thing for me to make sure I'm keeping on top of everything else because when the times get busy, like we're kind of getting towards the end of semester now, so we're getting a little bit busy. It just it means that there's one less thing to remember in my brain, and I can get it out, and it's on somewhere else, so I don't have to worry about it as much, and I can put more of my brain energy towards doing these things. So those are I slightly cheated the question, but those are three things that I would recommend as a student. Yeah.
I'm gonna go overboard and have two as well. First one, super boring answer, but Canvas. It's our kind of university platform that all our courses are on. So it's on your laptops and everything as well. But having it on your phone just means if you're sitting on the bus and you're not sure when something's due, you can just have a quick look and see when you've got a quiz due or assignment due. Super helpful, just for those quick wee reminders. And then second one is also super nerdy, but Microsoft OneNote, because you can have all your notes on your laptop if you have an iPad as well or a tablet and your phone. So again, if you're sitting on the bus and you have some last minute study to do, whatever notes you've typed up on your laptop that day come across onto your phone and you can just kind of read those. It means you've got your study with you wherever you go, which is a burden and an amazing thing at the same time. But yeah, super helpful.
Great. Fantastic. Yeah, Jackson?
Sorry, can I jump in really quick and add on to the OneNote thing?
Totally.
The other tool that I use all the time is a platform called Notion. It's very similar to OneNote in that you can sync between different devices, but it's a lot more customized. I have it set out so that I have different rooms that I can go into. So I have like my music studio, my bedroom, my library, which is where I keep all my reading stuff, and then my study, which is where all my classes and notes are. Highly recommend as an alternative to OneNote if you're not a fan of the structure of that. Notion is also a really good tool. But yeah, hearing OneNote reminded me of that.
Okay, so one digital resource that I like to use in terms of my arts degree would definitely be Canva. I think we do a lot of infographics, posters or presentations, and I feel like it's a very cool thing to utilize. It's not as boring as just a plain PowerPoint. I feel like you can really add and be different with your sort of presentation using Canva. I think it's just really useful as well in terms of you not being limited to certain styles in your presentation or images you can use. So yeah, definitely recommend using Canva if you're doing arts because you will be doing a lot of presentations and a lot of infographics.
Awesome. And with that, we've reached the end of our Manu Mai Uni 101 student panel. Thank you to our amazing panelists for sharing their honest experiences and insights into what it's like to study here at University of Auckland. We'd also like to thank you, our amazing audience, for joining us. We hope you've taken something away from this evening. If you missed some parts or would like to hear it again, our webinar will be available to you online to rewatch at any time. If you have any further questions or if our team haven't gotten to your query in time, someone from our team should be in contact in about a day or two. Other than that, that's all from us, team. Thanks again for joining and have a great evening. Matiwa!